time-sensitive news.
It is. We're up to date.
This must be listened to.
Weekly Humorous News Time, 5:40. Bing! All right, the tweet was sent. And we're on the air.
Hey.
Isn't that cool?
It is. It just popped up as a notification on my phone.
It's on.
All
it's
right.
recording. Yeah, look at that. It did. And it's happening.
It is. Here we go.
Kocak.
All
right. If you say so.
Yeah.
Hi, and welcome to Talkward. I'm Marty Dundix, Editor-in-Chief of Weekly Humorous Magazine, and this is Talkward, a fun little podcast where professionally funny people stop in and tell awkward and cringeworthy stories. You have to tell an awkward and cringeworthy story.
I've got a couple.
I'm very excited that my guest made it here, all the way from California. She came in just for this.
I did.
Thank you so much.
No.
Courtney Kocak.
Kocak. Yeah, you did it.
Thank you. And welcome.
Thank you.
You're a comedian, writer, podcaster, bikini model.
No, I'm hanging up.
You're
I'm hanging up my bikini.
No more Instagram bikini modeling?
We'll see. TBD.
Ah!
It's hard to let it go, you know?
I wouldn't know what that's like to have like a photo of yourself and have everyone's like, oh, that's so wonderful. So like, people look at me and they see a good picture and they're like, oh, you look young in this photo. And I'm like, thanks. Like, that's the compliment that I get.
No,
that's what looking good is to me. It's like, oh, you don't look 40.
I feel like actually the bikini thing is not advantageous to my career or whatever. So that's the only reason I would.
Because you want to be taken more seriously or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. But you're in comedy, so it's not like you're being like a civil engineer.
It doesn't matter. And also, I feel like I don't want to be up for a job and have like someone's wife be like, nah.
I don't think that has anything to do with looking good in a bikini, though. I think people might just look at how pretty you are. You have very nice eyes, and they might be like, I feel like the bikini pushes it to the center of the conversation, and it doesn't need to be. It's unnecessary. Okay.
Yeah.
Is that what you're learning in your maturity?
Yeah, I just have a hunch.
Yeah.
That maybe it's not helping.
Okay.
You'll accept that.
I'll accept that, sure.
Yeah. You know.
With, okay. How does the boyfriend feel about this?
The bikini, he's, you know what? A huge benefit for our relationship has always been that he's like incredibly chill with all my decisions. And
this is fun because your podcast is Reality Bites.
Yes, with a Y.
Reality Bites with a Y. And this is a podcast that's about being single.
Well, I started it because I was a frustrated single person. And then I met my boyfriend like a month later.
And how long have you had the podcast going since?
For like over 2 years.
Yeah.
So, but listen, it's an interview-based podcast, and we interview all kinds of different people that have a wide spectrum of life experiences and sexualities and gender identities. And so, you know, we've evolved.
So it's a lot more than just being single.
It's a lot more than being single. And one of my co-hosts, Dave Rankin, is our single man. So he's got
you have just one endlessly always single person who gets to be on the show.
He's normally single.
Yeah.
I mean, we would be very happy for him if he found someone. And also, any of us could at any time become single again. Is
there an ongoing effort to try to find him love?
Yeah, we would love that.
Is the entire show just finding this guy a date?
I mean, he has a prospect right now that we're excited about.
Has the show actually found him any dates? Like 100% from the show?
No, honestly, again, it's like probably like the bikini thing. Like it hurts him more than it helps. You know, like who wants to be talked about?
Yeah,
it attracts the wrong kind of person that would want to be talked about.
It's true.
And also, yeah, there's a delay on when we release them. So like somebody could think that he's doing things with other people. Well, it's just, it's a little complicated.
The bikinis could sponsor the show.
I haven't had any offers.
People have there are swimwear companies out there, if you're listening.
We do a lot of sex toys.
Do you?
That fits.
There was a I'm in a WeWork at 110 Wall Street downtown. That's where the Weekly Humorist headquarters are. And there was a sex toy company in the building. I don't know if they're here anymore.
What are they called?
They produced something called the Satisfier.
Oh, I don't even know
I think it's
what
a
brand
vibrator.
that is.
There's a male and a female version of this. I met them at like a mixer. They're very nice people. They do very well. And they sell they're the number one selling product in Babeland stores, which is like a pretty mainstream sex shop. It's in Park Slope. I'm in Brooklyn, and there's one like next door to my coffee shop. There's a Babeland. It's a very classy joint.
Yeah. No, listen, I love sex toy establishments.
Yeah. There you go. So your show is sponsored by sex toy places.
Frequently, yeah.
Frequently.
I mean, we have other sponsors. HelloFresh has been a sponsor. I'm not just going to plug our
you
other
can.
sponsors.
I mean, I have one sponsor. It's a alcohol delivery app called Swill. Go to getswill.com. Use code FUNNY5 for $5 off your first order. It's they let you price compare liquor stores in your area for if you like have a bottle of Chardonnay you really like. It'll show you all the places that have it and what they're charging.
Oh.
You know.
It's like a coupon circular
Kinda.
that does all the work for you.
And this is like a white wine we have on tap that you're enjoying here in a big glass.
Yeah. I'm not...
Is it okay?
It's okay.
Is it room temp?
It's room temp. I'm also not trying to enjoy too much because this is our second time meeting in person. And the first time we met in person was when you were in LA.
Yeah.
And I am a lightweight. I get drunk very quickly, and I think I only had 3 drinks total
cute
that
drunk,
night.
Though you were just like, "Hello, I've had a couple of margaritas." Like you were very upfront. Like you weren't trying to hide it. You were just like giggling and smiling. You're like, "Hello, I've been here with I had another writing meeting with my writing partner, so I've had some margaritas. So hello," and I was like, "Hello."
And you weren't drinking at all.
I wasn't drinking at all, but I was with another cartoonist who I had met earlier, Ivan Ehlers, and he had been drinking at a couple of bars that he was showing me in Hollywood. And so, but I sat between the two of you at the bar, and it was hilariously fun. And I'm
glad you had a good time. Next day I was like, oh shit.
Oh no, it was great. And then we tried taking selfies, but you were so funny because you're like, I do not approve of that.
I deleted them.
You kept on deleting them from the phone. I think we have 2 that did not get deleted, but I never put them anywhere because you were very adamant. Even though, I mean, like you look great. You're just smiling and look normal.
Here's the thing.
Ivan looks crazy. I look crazy.
So I just started doing stand up, right? I told you this. Did I tell you this?
You had just started.
So I just started. So now I've like...
You've done it like one time, I think.
Yeah. So now I've done like one show and some mics. But anyway, one of my bits is about how I'm like... I have like an earlier thing where I'm like, I'm 35, but I have the modeling aspirations of a 15-year-old. And then, which is sad and true. And anyway, later I come back to it and I'm like, I'm not even photogenic. Like that, I say that my Instagram feed looks like just Temple Grandin.
But you are photogenic.
No, I'm not.
What are you talking about?
No, like those pictures. If you look at me, like in real life, people will be like, "Oh my God, you look like Jennifer Aniston or like Olivia Wilde or something." And then when you look at a picture of me, it's seriously like
you're like one of those beautiful people that says that they're not pretty enough. What?
Okay.
Oh, Courtney.
I thought.
Kidding me?
Okay.
Sorry. I'm throwing some truth at you, Courtney.
So, wait, cringeworthy stories? Is that what we're doing here?
Yeah. You have a cringeworthy story?
Should I just hop in?
Sure. How's stand-up going? I mean, that's a tough transition. Going from comedy writing to stand-up, it's a big jump.
Yeah, but I'm not like... I gotta get my HBO special. You know what I mean? It's
but there's a process. Like what's your angle? Like, who are you on stage? Like, you have to kind of figure that out.
Actually, why I'm excited that I'm started now versus earlier in my life is that I feel like earlier I would have felt like I needed to be somebody else or like put on more of a facade.
Yeah.
And now I like know myself enough. Or I don't know exactly what it is. There's some like maturity that I'm able to probably be the closest version of myself on stage. And I've like come to terms with all my, not all my weaknesses. You've been knocked
down enough.
But yeah, like I know what's funny in like the modeling thing's funny because it's straight up delusional, right? And like I'm aware of that delusion. But yeah, it's going good. My show went well. I even sent. So one of my ex-boyfriends is a stand-up, and I think I sent the video to him, and I was like, "So feedback?"
Yeah,
and he was actually like super nice about it, and it's not in his personality, so I feel like it's going okay.
Good. How long of a set did you do?
I did like 7 or 8 minutes.
Did it feel like an hour when you were doing it? Like was it endlessly?
So fun.
Yeah.
The thing is, it's so fun, and
it's like a drug. People get addicted to it.
Oh, for sure. I see how that happens. Yeah. For sure. I just had a blast doing it. I wished I would have known, like, so I was an actress first, and...
Is that how you became the LA person? Did you move, because you lived in Minnesota?
Yes. I grew up in Minnesota. I went to college in Missouri. I graduated early. Which was a big mistake because I was not fully cooked. I was not ready to like be out in the real world, but I totally thought I was. And so, I was like 20 or 21 when I graduated. And then I flitted around a bit. I did a couple independent films.
Cool. Like dramatic?
Yeah, whatever they were. One was like an apocalypse film.
Nice.
And one was like about lifeguards on a beach.
Sounds good.
Nobody needs to see any of those.
Like Baywatch, but at a community pool.
Yeah. No, on Chicago's North Beach.
Okay.
Yeah. And
Shore Watch.
Riff Raff is
Riff
what it was
Raff.
called.
I like it. Is it actually, it's called Riff Raff?
Yeah.
Is it on Amazon? Can I watch it on Prime?
Dude, please.
Is it on Netflix? Everybody look at
picture. Just delete it.
Oh.
So, I did that. I sold T-shirts on the Girls Gone Wild tour because I moved out to LA.
Okay.
And I was like, this is what I'm saying,
so
not fully cooked.
So you weren't in the Girls Gone Wild video.
No.
You were just someone selling T-shirts.
So, one of the jobs that I had gotten in college was... it's called promotional modeling. It's,
yes.
No, you know what this is. It's
sure.
giving out free shit, basically.
Yeah.
And they want you to be
everywhere.
like semi-attractive. It's really not a high standard.
Yeah.
So I was doing some of that, and then I saw this Craigslist ad for a merch girl. Mm-hmm. And I moved to LA like a total dumbass. Like not like I had some like idea of LA in my head.
I found that so nice when I was out there when we met. I like because I've been in New York for 16 years, 17 years. And when you go, this is a hard-boiled town and everyone's so jaded and mean and it's like dirty and grimy and cold and the weather. Anyway, but you go to LA and it's like, it's a town of dreamers. And maybe their dreams have been destroyed, but like, 90% of the people are just like so hopeful. Everyone's so hopeful. Everybody wants to do this cool, creative, awesome thing, and like they're just doing this part-time job till they make it, but everyone's like that. And there's this kind of vibe, there's like this feeling of just like I don't know, this like effervescence of hope and creativity that kind of is permeating from the town. It's nice. I like it.
That's good.
You know, it's a vibe.
It is a vibe. I mean.
It's full of failure, too.
It is full of failure. So you sort of have to have that starry-eyed, stupid.
So you moved out there with that starry-eyed stupid.
I moved out there, I had like no... And also my parents are teachers, and they were like not ever... it's like they didn't fucking know what was out going to find me in LA. They like knew they should be scared of it, but like they didn't know exactly... They couldn't help me prepare.
Yeah. Are you an only child?
No, I'm the oldest.
You're the oldest. That's interesting. I
really?
feel like someone being starry-eyed and just going for it would be like the youngest. Yeah. How many are you the oldest? I have 3
younger brothers.
Oh, okay. So you're the only girl.
I'm the only girl. Okay. And, definitely, like I always wanted to do it. And my parents telling me I couldn't, like, was no...
But have you always been funny?
I think so. I also like some of comedy, like most smart people or most funny people are just pretty smart. Do you know what I mean? Like,
you have to know about a lot about something to make fun of it.
Yeah, and like to come at it in an intelligent angle. I feel like I've always been smart, and my dad had a great sense of humor.
That's nice.
Yeah,
that's how I grew up. I grew up in a kind of a very funny household. My mom's very funny, and my dad was very funny, but like very dry sense of humor. So we always had kind of like one-liners or zingers that he would just deliver completely, just emotionless, but they would be hilarious. And he wasn't like a ham. Like I can be kind of a ham, but he was like a real
like
subtle.
Like an Archie Bunker?
No, just like he had a real dry sense of humor. So I thought that was really funny. So he was kind of he had kind of a Steve Martin Letterman-esque kind of edge to him. But I grew up watching like old SNL or Blues Brothers or Animal House as a young child. And,
my dad wasn't actually funny. Like he is now. He's funny as like a character. Like my boyfriend finds him like very funny and endearing. But he had a great sense of humor. Like he thinks we share that. We think the same, like, human flaws are funny. Mm-hmm. I mean, right? Because we're, like, all our own worst enemy, and, like, that's hilarious.
Yeah.
And that's really... So I feel like that, definitely, like, fine-tuned my sense of humor. I
think that, like, the things I always find the funniest are the things where someone's trying their best, but everything is always falling apart.
Yeah.
And we're like, I think physical comedy and slapstick's always funny. But it's always when someone's like really trying, but this like things are always just completely fucked up. I find that always very funny.
Yeah, when the forces are all totally battling you.
This poor schmo is just trying his best.
I know, yeah.
And it's just like the world is always falling apart around him.
For sure.
But he always is trying. Like he doesn't let it get to him. He's like, it's going to be fine. Everything's going to be fine. I think that's fun. So you moved to L.A. You were a promotional model, a merch girl.
Yeah, ill-equipped. So I got this job pretty quickly because I was staying with a friend, probably wearing out my welcome on her couch. So I got this job selling T-shirts on the Girls Gone Wild tour. I lasted maybe like 6 weeks. It was horrible. Like it was truly, in a way, I'm not being funny. Like it shook my worldview in this really deep way that took me probably a solid year and a half to shake off afterward.
And also knowing you just from your comedy, like you're like a feminist comedy writer, from the stuff that I've, you're very passionate satire with like that edge. So knowing that you were exposed to this absolute, horrible job of these, the most misogynistic possible.
Oh my God. Dude, we would go out. So I was the only girl on the tour, and we would go out to, it was in Canada. So I met up with them in like Vancouver or whatever the fuck.
And what kind of a tour was it? What kind of
They had a bus. They had a big bus with like a, half naked girl on the bus. And so we were just super discreet.
And then were they filming random girls flashing?
They would.
Or were they bringing talent that was?
Oh,
just
hell no.
Okay.
Their whole thing was that they didn't want to pay for any
So they would just get
talent. They would just like basically go to small towns and like book an event. It'd be like Girls Gone Wild's coming into the biggest bar in town. And then these talk about starry-eyed idiots. These girls would be like, this is I don't know, think it was some...
I'm going to get a T-shirt for doing this.
Yeah,
Great.
Or there was like some famous... There's something. There was something else.
Like, it's every father's worst nightmare.
Oh, yeah. They would say stuff. They would have the girls be like, hi, Dad.
Oh, God. That would break my heart.
That wasn't even... Like, meeting the girls was rough. And just knowing, like... I don't think I only knew of like one girl that got paid. And that's because she was like a hustler. And she did some serious shit. She was like a stripper, somebody that like knew that like, okay, at least need to get paid for this.
So you lasted on that job for 6 weeks.
6 weeks. Oh, wait, I got to tell you this. This is the worst part for me, is that it would be all these guys and they were like incentivized they would get paid extra if they could film scenes, right? So they were always like scenes were, for example, a girl eating out her best friend or whatever. That's a scene. So, but
I was expecting like a girl kissing another girl. That's what I was like, oh, she's about to say girls kissing.
Like, that might be a low key scene, but really what they wanted was the other thing.
Oh, I didn't realize it was that pornographic.
I think that's like the maximum pornographic that it got, but like that's
dirty.
That's sure.
Yeah.
So that was their bread and butter, though. So these guys would be constantly and they had very strict standards about what these girls needed to look like, which is just so entitled.
Yeah.
So we would be having lunch. Every time we had lunch, it would be me and these like 5 other guys who were just like in money making guy mode.
Yeah.
They were like, maybe would have been crass even if it wasn't their job, but their job was to like was to rate girls essentially.
Yeah.
So they would rate every female that we came into contact with, which just made me feel like, oh, I am essentially my looks, or I don't know. I just didn't. The whole thing was so fucked up.
Yeah. And then, I mean, they're not in business anymore, I don't think. I think they
No, I know. It was so shady.
It took a while, though.
It took way too long.
Yeah.
And Joe Francis ran the whole thing on his, like, Black American Express card. It was just, like, everything was...
Yeah.
Anyway, that's cringeworthy, right?
That's very cringeworthy. I'm cringing a lot from that. That's a bad environment. That's poisonous environment for you to be in.
It was so toxic.
And how old were you? 21?
I think I turned 21... Yeah, I was like 20 or 21.
Yeah.
So horrible. So then I couldn't go back to LA afterwards because it's like...
Why?
Well, my couch situation had sort of
you had
changed.
No place to go.
I probably could have made it work, but I like didn't want to. You know what I mean? It was like... I felt just like disgusting. Like, how would I even land back and figure my shit out? So anyway...
Where'd you go? Home?
I... went back to Chicago for a second, and then I stayed in Missouri for legit like 6 months. Like, I'm telling you, like, I had to like hibernate.
Yeah.
And like really, I worked at a dry cleaners.
That's like a traumatic experience working for a company like that. Like,
oh my God. And like, I didn't know, you know, my parents are teachers, and obviously like.
Did they know what you were doing?
I think
Did you tell them?
I think so. I'm sure they weren't happy. I mean, my poor parents at that stage. Yeah, I'm sure they were super bummed out. But no, they knew. They knew I was in Canada. They knew about the whole thing.
Okay.
And I also felt like I couldn't go home because I'd just been like.
It's like you ran off and joined. Like,
it was
the
like
circus.
I was like mind fucked. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was, or mind raped. It was just like totally gross.
Yeah.
So yeah, I had to put myself back together, and then I finally was like, okay, I can move to the Twin Cities, and I lived there for like 6 more months or something, or maybe a whole year, and then I finally moved back to LA, and that's when I stayed for good.
Good.
Yeah.
You were back and better.
Back and better.
You were healed.
At like 23.
Yeah. And then you started doing writing?
No. So then I moved out to act. I still wanted to act at that point.
Like dramatic stuff? Did you have headshots?
I definitely had headshots. I would say, yeah, I was probably a better dramatic actress.
Did you have the headshots where it's like, here's me like this, here's me with glasses, here's me serious,
yeah,
here's me happy?
I never had like great headshots, in my opinion. Like, and they didn't work that well. I mean, it was not like I booked an amazing thing off of any of those headshots.
Did you do like commercials?
I went on a few commercial auditions. Oh my God. This is hilarious. So I hadn't gotten any commercial auditions for a long time, but I had a commercial agent, and she finally sent me out for this thing that was like, it was a car. I can't remember what car company, but they were doing this ad, and they were like, okay, this is like a mob vibe. I don't know why I got called in. I think I had an aggressive jawline picture or something.
Okay.
But they were like, okay, so these are like mob characters. So I didn't know, like, okay, what does it look like if I am a mob
you have
person?
To be like kind of jerseyed up a little bit, like big bangly earrings. And
I should have maybe like been like
kinda
a
soprano.
mobster's girlfriend.
Yeah.
But I didn't do that. I just straight up did like Joe Pesci.
So you thought, I'll be a mobster and not like a mob wife.
Yeah, I wasn't like, how do I fit into this equation?
You're like, obviously, I'm going to be Joe Pesci. That's how I fit into this equation.
Oh my God.
You're talking to me.
Yeah. Yeah, basically.
Nice.
They were probably like, what the hell is going on?
It's like, they're like, does she think she's the mobster in this equation?
Listen, it's not like, yeah. They didn't ask for a mobster's girlfriend. It was.
And what kind of car commercial are we doing here?
I think.
Are they talking about like what a great amount of trunk space there is in this Toyota Camry for bodies?
I think ultimately it was like kind of heist.
Okay.
A heist type vibe with like 4 mobsters in a minivan.
Okay. So it's kind of like Get Shorty-ish.
Yeah.
All right. It's a good getaway car.
Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, you know what I'm talking about.
It's just so bad.
Leave the cannoli in the trunk. There's plenty of space.
I was like, me in a tank top talking like Joe Pesci. Callback? No?
No?
Okay.
Come on. Oh, well.
So, yeah. When I transitioned out of acting, I was like doing classical theater, which LA is not a town for that, but I was doing classical theater. And realized like, oh, I should write for myself, right? Like that would be a way that I could do more things or get more I don't know. I thought of it like a means to an end. And then I started doing it and I was like, oh, this is the thing. This is like totally the thing, and loved it. And I should have known sooner because like I liked to write as a kid. And like when I was in my BFA program, I loved the assignments where they would be like, I took this like directing course and they'd be like, okay, so like blow out this world and, basically write a treatment for it. And I fucking love that stuff. So I don't know why it took me, some of us are slow.
You have to kind of figure out what you're good at and what you're passionate at and what's...
Yeah. So my writing partner's husband like knew when he was like 9 or whatever. Yeah. And like started interning at production companies and then like, did a feature length film like while he was in college and like then so for him to look at someone like that where their like trajectory is like way smarter and like I don't know, more planned, and then to like look at his experience versus like hers and mine.
It's like feasible goals where you're saying, I have a plan of attack, and they're not hinging on if this person thinks I can be on a billboard or be on camera.
Yeah, and it's also
like a sitcom.
He started working towards this thing when he was like I said, 9 versus like 27 or 28. It's like, okay, well, yeah, you're way further along.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I had no idea what I was going to do. I just kind of kept on doing creative, funny things.
When did you get into...
I did art. I did art growing up, and I was always into comedy, and I was always into filming little skits with a video camera in the basement. Like my dad had a video camera, and I'd get to go and play with it. So all like middle school and high school, I would like write sketches and get my friends to be in these fun comedy sketches. They were kind of very SNL-y, and then I was really into editing and like figuring out how to do like graphics and stuff. So I had all this like I like hacked together this whole like production studio of old VHS, like old videotape recorders and like multiple screens, and I had like a reel-to-reel for audio, and I was like cutting and splicing, and it was really lame and silly, and it was fun. And then I went to college for art. I went to Syracuse for art, but then I ended up doing radio on the side for fun. And then when
and look at you now.
I know. And then everyone starts doing podcasting, and I'm like, yeah, I know how to do that. That's like, come on.
That's like junior high stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I worked in like comedy morning show radio. Like all my internships, I worked at little radio stations, oldie radio stations in Baltimore.
Yeah.
Good Time Oldies, 105.7 WQSR. Rouse and Company in the morning. Good Time Oldies all day.
Love it.
It was great. So I did that.
And
radio's still alive. People love radio. It's never going away.
So that's why I'm in New York.
For radio? Oh, yeah. You're in New York for like a radio podcasty thing.
Yeah, I'm doing Air Media has, it's called the Full Spectrum Intensive. Mm-hmm. And it's like a week-long program. Oh, my God. Some of my classmates are like so accomplished. It's crazy. But it's like the instructors work on like some of the biggest podcasts or like, you know, produce shows on Gimlet or like The Daily or whatever. So that it's super valuable information that's practical. Like they're definitely working. And then, yeah, the whole goal for me is what I love about podcasting and radio, and a lot of times they're one and the same.
Yeah, I mean, podcasting is pretty much just like on-demand radio now.
Right. And so many of the shows, like so many NPR shows, you listen to them as podcasts and also on the air.
Yeah, they produce them, they get real popular, and then they start running them at like 3 o'clock on a Sunday.
Yeah, it'll be syndicate. Yeah,
I love that.
It's so cool. And so, yeah, I'm a writer. I do scripted comedy, and for me to not need a green light from like a big production company to make something that has like really interesting storytelling is so cool. Yeah. Right?
Yeah, it's great. You don't need a big gatekeeper to tell you that you can and can't do something that people can appreciate and listen to. Like, as long as you have a minimal amount of equipment and you have a passion for it, you can put it up. Like,
yeah.
And you should. Like, if you know, there's the people like and the cream rises to the top. So the good stuff people listen to, and you know, there's tons and tons of podcasts out there, and there's tons and tons of YouTube channels.
And it's also just like another way to cut your teeth. I mean, it's an end for me too. I've realized like it's another thing that I'm like similarly passionate about. But it's also like all the time that I spend working on narrative arcs for podcasting or radio or whatever is like also helps me as a storyteller doing scripted stuff.
So when you were working as a writer on Danger and Eggs on Amazon, which was a highly accomplished and
Adie Bryant did the voice of the little stunt girl, and she has a talking egg friend. The stunt girl's name is Dee Dee Danger, and the world is so fun. That show is wild, and they did really cool progressive stuff. Like there was like an episode that was like pride themed, and like, you know, so they did. It was a really cool show to work on, and
it was highly acclaimed.
Yeah, no, it won an Emmy.
There was all these awards for it, and it was always like it was a kid show that was more for also adults. So it was like one of those shows that parents could actually appreciate, which is important to find, because a lot of the shows that like my niece and nephew watch are just absolute garbage. But then some of the stuff I love, because I notice it's really well written. Like some of the Lego Batman stuff is hilarious.
Yeah, I think the show, I mean... And it's like we wrote 2 episodes, so it's not even like I'm talking about myself really, but the show is like so funny in a real way to all ages, I think.
But then they didn't renew it, or it got renewed, or it got canceled.
Yeah, I don't know exactly. No, it didn't get renewed, I don't think, as far as I know.
But they could always renew it.
They could. Yeah, I don't know what Amazon's like rubric is right now. To me, it was a success, but then you look at Netflix,
and all they do is just throw money and seasons at some of these kid shows. They're just like, we'll take 5 seasons.
You know, my hunch is that, and this is just my personal hunch, so take it for what it is. But there was like a bunch of sexual harassment firings around that time, and one of the people that got fired was the head of programming at Amazon. So probably didn't help, right?
Didn't help.
Yeah.
No.
Anyway. Maybe it'll come back one day.
But that was how was that working on a show like that?
It was
You have
dope.
a writing partner?
I have a writing. Yeah, I do most of the scripted like TV, and like we wrote a commercial for the election and all that kind of stuff with my writing partner Sophia Alexandra, who's a hilarious stand-up comedian and my best friend. And she also is a co-host of Reality Bites. But yeah, we met at an IO West class like 7 or 8 years ago. I think 8 years ago. And finding a good writing partner is like, I mean, I would just write by myself if I wouldn't have found like the one. I feel like it is like finding someone that you can marry. Like it's so hard.
Because they have to get you. They have to understand.
You have to get each other.
Yeah.
You have to be like the same level of driven, or you'll drive each other crazy. Our Venn diagram of like what we think is funny is like kind of beautiful. I love working with her. So.
And do you have other projects you guys are working on together?
We have a pilot that we're like, oh God, we just need like 3 days uninterrupted to finish. We always have stuff we're working on, and we're doing a really exciting thing with Reality Bites. I don't know how much I should say about this. But basically we're going international next year.
Ooh.
Right?
How so? Are you going to take the show on the road?
We sort of, yeah. And we're going to tell stories about love and sexuality and intimacy from around the world. So like our first trip is to Helsinki. We're just going to interview some really dope people over there. And like they have some kind of interesting things going on. Like, I'm sure we'll find even more angles, but one of the things that struck us right away is, it's like the happiest country, when they release those polls. Yeah. And it's a dope place to live. Like if you're a woman, you get like a year off when you have a baby. I think both partners get like an extremely large leave. And the government gives you this like starter kit, you know? Cool. Yeah. And everyone's just really well taken care of. It's like, so women don't want to leave, but the Finnish men aren't like quite up to their standards. Like not as many of them graduate college, and like, just like there aren't enough.
So the eligible Finnish men have it easy. They have nothing but accomplished women to pick from, and then the Finnish women have to like lower the standards or leave the country and import men.
There's another option, Marty.
What's that?
And that is to import better men.
You're going to import them.
So that's what we're finding happens sometimes.
It's like a Russian bride situation, but like for just like
they'll just
higher educated dudes.
Come here, sexy Spanish man.
Yeah.
Like,
and how do they import them? Do they go on like vacations to find men?
Okay, so I don't know. TBD. I guess we'll uncover
That'd be
that.
Interesting.
So one of the couples that we've identified is.
I should be on the lookout for some ladies from Helsinki looking to settle down and take me home with them.
Do you want to live in Helsinki?
I don't know.
Maybe.
What's it like? It sounds great.
Yeah, no, it sounds amazing. I was just like, Marty, you can't leave this.
I can't leave all of this.
I think sometimes they will go study somewhere or whatever and bring the guy back. I think it's probably a very individual thing. They're just, I think, more open to, I meet somebody somewhere else. Maybe I'll bring him back.
Sure. That sounds like a plan. Have you been there before?
No, it'll be my first time, and we're going in the winter, so it's like there's like 5 hours of daylight.
Oh, that's interesting.
And they have like a major sauna culture.
The only thing I think about, saunas and the Helsinki formula. Isn't that a famous thing, the Helsinki formula? And that was some sort of a thing. Was that a skin thing? It was a famous thing.
Are you saying formula?
Formula. The Helsinki formula was something. I think it was in like the 80s. Helsinki. I need to figure this out.
Some intense Googling happening.
But my thumbs are the Helsinki. It was a shampoo. Maybe it was about I think it was about hair loss. Yes. They were like the authority on like on male pattern baldness stuff all during the 80s. The Helsinki formula, that's right. It was this number one, it was like this huge commercial campaign. What happened? I don't know. It was like a commercial. It was like a 1986 commercial for the Helsinki formula, and they had like all the answers to male baldness. And it's still big. Yeah. Still a huge thing.
Interesting.
It's nothing. It's just like, Pret or Prel.
Hair club for men.
Yeah. It's like the hair club for men. The Helsinki formula. But they have a lot of like saunas, and they have like the things with the mud.
Mm-hmm. We definitely want to do some bathhouse stuff while we're there.
They have a really popular bathhouse. I mean, it's not big, but it's one of the oldest. I think it's one of the oldest bathhouses in like, I want to say in North America, but I'm probably wrong. Definitely in New York City. It's like 18 something or 17 something. No,
where is it? What is it called?
It's in the Lower East Side. It's called the Russian and Turkish Bathhouse. And they have guys that will like beat you with these big branches. and they have all these different heat rooms, and you go in, and it's so hot. And they have an ice bath, like an ice pool that you go in between the different rooms. There's a radiant heat, there's a steam heat, and there's like you go into this one, and I think it's the radiant heat room, and you go in, and it's like an oven, like it's like stone walls, and it's so hot. And you go in, and it's like your face is like in a oven, and you are burning, and your lips are burning, and there's these big buckets of cold water. These big buckets, and the water is constantly running. And there's like 4 levels. You just sit and just quietly sit, and you see, because it's so hot, you can't talk. So you're just like, oh my god. And then every couple of seconds,
what's the benefit?
Yeah, I don't know. You get up and you take a gigantic bucket of cold water and you dump it on your head, and then you sit back down. And every couple of seconds, an individual does this, and you're in this room with like 20 people on these different levels, just sitting quietly, just baking, and you do it for hours. And then you feel great. And it's the Russian Turkish bathhouse. It's in the Lower East Side. It's on like East.
Is it gender divided?
It's co-ed. They have male hours if you want to go all male, all female hours for all female. So people can be like naked or whatever.
Otherwise it's totally mixed?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. So everyone's wearing like bathing suits.
You're not totally naked.
They give you, people can be, I think you can't be, if it's co-ed, you can't be like bottomless, but women can be topless if they want to be. You know, and it's not just the hotties. You know, everybody can be. I know. Everybody can be topless or bottomless.
I recently went to a spa in LA where I was like not shocked. A lot of older women.
Let it all hang.
They were getting it. Yeah.
I think as you get older, you become more and more comfortable. It's funny. As you become fatter and hairier, and you're more comfortable being naked.
They were just like washing their pussies off with hoses. They just like didn't have. Sorry, can I say that on here? Sorry.
It's okay. We're on a delay. No, we're not. I'll believe
people always on my podcast are like, "Can I say that?" after they swear, and we're like, "Yeah,
say more of it."
Yeah.
I feel like people are you're less shameful of your body the more disgusting it gets. I feel like when you're like better looking but you're young, you're like,
you're more self-conscious.
Much more self-conscious.
Because your standards are higher, probably.
And then the older that you get, probably the grosser you get, the more you're just like, I don't care. I'm not going through the effort of being worried about this.
None of it matters. Do you know what I think of on the regular is Harris Whittles? Do you know who that is?
Mm-mm.
Very funny comedy writer who unfortunately died of an overdose a couple years ago. But he like wrote on Parks and Rec and a bunch of other shows. He wrote on Sarah Silverman's show like back in the day. Like he got his start early. Anyway, he's hilarious and he was so funny on Twitter. And he tweeted, I'm going to butcher this, but it's basically to this effect. Do you ever think someone hates you and then they like something of yours on Instagram and then you realize in 100 years we'll all be dead? I think of that. I remind myself of that like on a almost daily basis.
Yeah, none of it's going to matter.
None of it matters. No. Anytime I like am like, oh my God, did I just totally shit the bed on that? And then I'm like, dude, these people aren't even going to be around to remember it.
Won't matter. So
sad, morbid.
Yeah, so there's that. You know, we're all going to die, so what are we doing here anyway? Anyway.
It's a good way to pass the time.
Also, we're sponsored by Swill. Go to getswill.com. And so, Get Fresh. What's it called?
Get Drunk. Yeah. No, HelloFresh.
HelloFresh.
It's like a meal delivery service.
Oh, people hate to cook for themselves these days. Everybody likes to get things delivered. You know? Like all those meal kits with all the packaging. I like going to the grocery store and just buying stuff and making whatever I can. I cook a lot.
I don't cook at all. I feel like that's
you don't
an
cook
interesting
with the boyfriend?
Gender reversal.
It's a nice
he cooks.
Thing. Okay, well, that's good.
Yeah.
Give him a job.
I actually find very few, like, quote-unquote modern women that cook in the same way that, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And there are way more men.
I was brought up, my dad cooked.
Oh, cool.
My mom was horrible at cooking. She tried. She was terrible, but she was more of a Swanson TV dinner person.
But in her generation, that was super rare, right?
Yeah, probably. She made like 3 things, and that was it. And then it was Swanson TV dinner, and my dad cooked. So, and then I learned to cook out of necessity because my mom didn't cook, so I would cook. But I learned, and I love cooking now. I cook when I go home to visit them. I cook.
It seems cathartic if you're into that. I think I have too many like food issues to really
What
get into it.
What are your food issues? You allergic to stuff? Or you just hate stuff?
I just feel like if you are a woman that grows up in our society, I feel like it's getting better. But you know, our culture is like pretty weight sensitive.
Oh, you mean food issues like body image?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think that like makes for a complicated relationship that a lot of women have with food.
Yeah.
Some more than others. I definitely, I mean, my mom was like hospitalized for anorexia and not when I was, before me, like when she was growing up. And they say part of it is like hereditary because it's really like a control issue. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I mean, that's a whole separate podcast. Truly. I'm working on one.
Well, what do you like to eat if you could eat whatever you liked?
Oh, I eat like a dumpster. Like I eat like stuff from 7-Eleven or like I almost every morning. I didn't this morning because I'm like out of my natural habitat, but almost every morning I eat golden double stuff Oreos.
That's terrible
like
for you.
Like a pack. I know.
It's all trans fats. Courtney.
I know.
I'm not a big junk food. I stopped eating the junk food. I ate a lot of junk food growing up, and I felt like I was a fat kid.
Were you?
Yeah, I was always kind of pudgy. I was always pudgy. Like I felt like I had a dad bod when I was like 12.
That's hilarious.
And I never stopped. You know, like all of a sudden I woke up, I went through, I don't know, like a summer of body changes, and I went from being just like a rail thin kid to be having like this weird kind of just like spare tire. And I always had it. And I was never, you know, I played sports, but I wasn't like good at sports, and I wasn't really athletic, so I wasn't like working it off, I guess. But I never was in good shape. It was like a genetic thing. I was never, there's some people that were always ripped. And they don't even work out. I would have to work out so much to get any sort of definition, like insane amounts. I've been a person that would go to the gym every day because I'd become obsessed with it. Like, why don't I look like these people? Why can't I look like these people? And I would be on a crazy diet, and I would be on a crazy regimen, and it really didn't matter. And I would kick my ass, and it didn't matter. Like I would have to go do something insane. Like I have to do like the P90X type insanity.
Also, what the fuck are you training for?
And
like
who
it's
cares?
fine. It's fine.
As you get older, you're like, none of this matters. Just don't be, morbidly obese, I guess. Make it so you're happy with.
If you're happy
be
like
happy
that,
with your clothes fitting. That's my main thing. Is I get sad when the clothes that I have feel tight. Then I feel bad because I'm like, I don't want to have to go buy new pants. I hate buying new pants because then it's like you've lost. Like if I have to go buy new pants because I went from like a 34 to a 36, that is the biggest amount of mental defeat is to have to go and buy the exact same pants one size bigger because you just can't lose that, 2 So then I'll go and try to lose. I'll try to lose the weight, and I'll go on like South Beach, and I'll go down to no carb, and I'll be all crazy about it. And that works.
And then you
end up breaking it. But I've been good for the past year. I've been like
you look good.
Gluten-free-ish. I did the gluten-free-ish. I don't think I'm allergic to gluten, but I definitely found when I cut it out, I lost weight and I sleep so much better.
Oh, interesting.
So I'm less cloudy. I'm more sharp. So, I mean, I think there's variations on that, but works for me. And it's nice to have boundaries. If you give yourself little boundaries and rules to kind of work in,
yeah,
it's nice.
So part of like, I had a super complicated relationship with food and like was kind of like a binge eater and whatever. Once I sort of like tackled my stuff in early adulthood, then I just have been like on a regimented, it's not super regimented. Like I said, I eat golden double stuff Oreos every day, but like, I work out a certain amount. I eat the same amount of food every day. And so therefore I like my body doesn't really change size.
And you're a pretty tiny person. You can't, I mean,
I could probably.
I can gain a lot of weight and still be like, okay, because I'm about 6 foot, so I can like hide it. But I mean, smaller people, if they gain like anything, it changes their entire body.
Yeah.
Because they're only like, people who are like 5'2", 5 feet. Like you can't, it's hard. It's hard to eat. Eating's a pain.
Oh, eating.
Society. But you do a lot of physical stuff. What was your thing? Wait, is it not Pilates?
Oh my God.
What was your thing that you did every day that was incredibly hard? And I was so impressed that you did
Oh, when
this
I did
every
my
day.
ab challenge?
Yeah.
Yeah, so my normal workout routine is like I do loads of dog walks. Mm-hmm. So like, and I usually like, I want to get at least 10,000 steps a day.
Mm-hmm. That's good.
And then
if you're in New York City, you'll get like 25,000. Not even trying.
Sometimes, yeah. Like yesterday it wasn't like I was like trying to walk and I got 11. Which in LA, it's like I have to walk my dog to do that.
Here, no problem.
Yeah. One of the benefits of New York, but it's freezing. So
yeah, this is not the best time.
And then I do bar. I do like Pilates
right,
bar,
the bar.
basically.
Yeah.
So there are loads of options in LA. I also like Barry's Boot Camp, but that's more of like a treat. It's super expensive. I love. It's basically a lot of like using your own body weight.
Mm-hmm. And that's based on like a ballet bar. What is that? What
it's like
bar
a
is?
ballet bar and like Pilates combo.
Yeah. So it's like core strengthening, that kind of stuff.
You do a lot of planks and stuff.
Yeah, that makes you strong. The planks are very hard.
Oh, totally. And when I do it like a lot, I actually do like my abs are pretty tight. Not right now. Anyway.
I have great abs. I keep them protected under this nice this nice layer of foam.
This pillow.
Yes, it's very nice. I keep them protected. They're insulated. I want to protect my abs. They're shock resistant.
Do you want to hear my embarrassing stories?
I do.
Okay. Well, off the top of my head, I did not prepare for this, but I did know that I was like, I've got to tell some embarrassing stories, and that was the extent of it.
That sounds great.
So I peed my pants in 4th grade.
Okay, we're off to a good start.
Does that? Yeah. In class. Fortunately, my mom worked at the school, so she.
Are we starting with stories from 4th grade up until like yesterday? Because we're going to be on for a while, I think.
Yeah, let's hop around. I don't know. I don't know what I'm going to be able to pull out.
I peed in my pants in 4th grade. Was it in class?
It was the kind of, when you do stuff when you're younger, you think like, oh my God, this is going to haunt me forever. And it's like, now that's like, who cares? But
when you look back on something that was incredibly haunting like that in 4th grade, you think, God, so many worse things have happened to me since then.
Yeah.
And then you get kind of sad.
I mean, I haven't peed my pants in a public place like that.
That's good.
Since then, but it wasn't pleasant, and I think the other kids knew what was going on. What else did I do? Oh, I just had one. I'm like a terrible klutz, so I almost inevitably, if I like had a crush on someone or whatever, I would fall down the bleachers in front of them or trip. Or I definitely did that in front of Shane Titterington, this guy that I had an enormous crush on for most of middle school. Oh, I'm running out of stories.
Already?
Jog my memory, Marty. Tell me about my childhood.
What kind of childhood did you have? Were you like, did you play sports? Were you a cheerleader?
I wasn't
did you do any of that
good
kind
at
of stuff?
sports. Oh my God. I was so bad. And my parents are incredibly athletic. My dad, like, coaches all kinds of sports. He coached basketball. Mm-hmm. He's, like, an incredible golfer. Both my parents run marathons. My mom coaches cross country. They're, like, very, right? Yeah. That's, like, a whole thing in our family. I'm not athletic at all. And my brothers are extremely athletic. And I think it would have been a bigger issue if I would have been a boy. My dad would have been like, okay, but you need to like find this somewhere inside of you. Yeah. But he was only mildly disappointed with me. But this was like mortifying for him, is that in 7th grade, I think it was 7th grade, I made a basket for the other team.
Oh, that's very terrible and embarrassing.
It was at the time. He made me apologize to my coach. But honestly, I thought people were like, they were like, no, no, no. And I thought they were saying, go, go, go. Sad.
Wow. That's bad. That's not like accidentally kicking in the opponent's goalie. That's like making a shot.
I made it. Yeah.
Yeah.
They had to be like, it's kind of over and back. I don't know if it can count.
Yeah, that doesn't count.
So, yeah, not athletic at all.
What was your team name?
I think at that point we were the Huskies.
Nice.
So, yeah, we consolidated schools. We were the Jackson Blue Jays, and then we were the Jackson County Central Huskies.
I played everything. I had to play everything growing up. Our little league area thing was called Green Hornets. I had to play year-round sports because, that's what you make your kids do because it occupies
Wait,
them.
where are you from?
Maryland.
Maryland, okay.
Outside Annapolis. And so I played like basketball and soccer, and I did swim, and I played baseball, and I was bad at absolutely everything. I was horrible.
Me too, yeah.
And I kind of relished in the fact I was bad at sports, but I kept on having to play sports, so it was like very hilarious how bad I was. But in like soccer, I was like a fullback, and I would just hang out by the goalie, and I was like, I got in trouble. My dad yelled at me because I was like picking flowers. So it was like me and the other kids were not playing, and we weren't paying attention because our team was really good, so the ball wasn't coming to us, so we didn't have to do anything. So I just like hung out. I hung back.
Except some clutch moment.
Yeah, something happened, and I completely fucked up everything. Like, I completely wasn't paying attention. But then there was always, like, a clutch moment. I remember in basketball, like, I made the winning basket.
Oh.
I did like, one good thing.
You were, like, a little kind of a Rudy.
Yeah. I did one good thing, and then when I did that one, I was like, okay, I'm done. Like, I don't have to do anything else for my career of playing sports because I did that one good thing. I got, like, the game ball of baseball. Like, I hit one really good thing that, won the game. I had like one winning moment in each sport, so I was happy enough.
Oh, that's
but I
good.
never consistently did anything right. I was bad at everything.
I didn't have any winning moments. But something that's interesting in retrospect is maybe my favorite part of the sports that I played was like I would mess around in practice and like just be like dying and cracking up my teammates to like the point of distraction.
So what a comedian you were.
I know.
Yeah.
Early days.
And now you're
just quit.
Yeah, you could have started stand-up when you were like 12.
I know. Oh.
There's still time.
I hope so.
There's still time.
Yeah.
So the Reality Bites podcast is going strong. People can listen to it on iTunes.
Yeah, wherever you get your
Spotify.
podcasts. Spotify,
Stitcher. Pandora's doing them now.
Are they?
They just did. You got to get on there.
What? How do they do it?
I have no idea. Similar to how Spotify is doing it. They're just going to do the same thing.
Where it's like a playlist.
Probably.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you can't just, it's like, okay, and then after this hour long, you get a random other hour long podcast.
Exactly.
It doesn't really work the same way.
And where can people follow you? Is it Reality Bites with a Y?
We are Reality Bites Pod with a Y on all the social medias. Are we done?
I just wanted to get your stuff out.
Okay. It's so fast.
Is it fast?
I don't know. Maybe it's right.
I don't know.
I always feel like, yeah, I'm inclined.
It's like an hour. You're like, are we done already? I'm like,
oh my God, no, an hour is plenty long.
Are you moving in?
I always think a half hour is like, as a listener, is like a great length of a podcast. But when you're doing it, it always feels like, oh man, you're cutting it short. If it's anything less than an hour and a half. No, you can find me on the internet at Courtney Kocak, Kocak. Do it. Maybe you'll see a bikini picture before I retire.
Are you going to delete all the Instagram ones?
I need to figure out.
I think this is interesting that we're talking about this because it's like a precipice of your adulthood where you this is what you were doing and now you're looking back and you're like I don't want to be like that anymore. I want to go in this direction.
If there were no consequence to like I love taking those pictures and posting them. Yeah.
I think then you should do it. You should do whatever you want to do. Don't do something because you're afraid of what someone's going to think of you.
No, because sometimes sometimes you have to step back and be like, okay, am I impeding my career? In
if
certain
I
ways?
had abs, I would be shirtless right now. All the time. I'd have a muscle shirt on.
Marty, this would be like a Me Too situation. See,
I'd be walking around.
People would be like,
I'd be flexing.
It was the weirdest meeting. Yeah. Follow me, guys.
Follow her. I think the funniest thing I saw, because you write things for Weekly Humorist, and you're very funny, and that's how we met. And it's delightful meeting you in person. It's so exciting to meet people in real life and get to see like what they're actually like, not just their words. But the stuff you write is so funny. And you wrote some really funny and charged things when you first sent something to me. It was like a sexual assault. It was Valentine's for a bunch of the Me Too guys. So it was like Valentine's, I think, for like Bill Cosby.
Sexual predators.
Yeah, sexual predator Valentine's. And that was really funny. And then you sent like a real like rage satire thing that was really, really well received during the Kavanaugh hearings.
Oh, yeah.
And it was like, this is why, I wanted to testify in front of...
I testified before Congress and all my sexual fantasies. It was supposed to be rape fantasies, but whatever.
But you changed it.
No, you didn't tell me to change it.
I didn't tell you to change it.
No. Previous feedback told me to
I make
change
no
it.
changes. I'm like...
Really?
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, it's so much effort. It's not because...
Sure.
I'm just lazy.
No, but also I think it's like... Yeah, that's like if you're like going to be a developmental editor, that's like a whole other thing. You want to just get things that I think are ready.
Yeah,
right?
I do. Yeah. I mean, maybe also because I'd previously published you, I might say, hey, can we cut this word?
For sure.
If I thought that it was like going to cause a problem, but also...
But if you were like, this piece is like 60% there, it's like you're not going to...
I think I would have left rape fantasy in the title if you sent it to me like that. I would have respected your creativity.
I liked it, but I knew that it would hit certain people in the wrong way. So
yeah, it did very well.
Thank you.
And who was I talking?
Like numbers wise?
Oh yeah, I mean it got shared a ton.
Oh, good.
Lots of people read it.
Good.
Everyone thought it was great.
Tell me more.
But then it was fun because then I think after that, I looked you up on the Instagram thing because you're big on the Instagram, and the funniest thing in the world was you posted something that I think was like it like boiled you down in like 30 seconds, and it was the video of you getting in trouble being someplace you weren't supposed to be.
Oh my God, no, the video of me throwing confetti?
Yeah.
Okay, so...
And it was so funny because you were like, hey, the caption was something like, hey, do you want to see an adult get scolded, because she wasn't supposed to be somewhere. And you were doing kind of like a fun photo shoot in this little funny area, and you were doing something, and someone obviously is saying, you can't be there, get off of there. And you're like, oh, I'm sorry. And you like immediately had to get down, and it was so funny.
Dude, so, I said, want to see a grown woman get in trouble? So there was this, I don't know if they do this in New York, but in LA, there are these, like, pop-up events where it'll just be, like, for people to go take Instagram pictures.
I did not know that.
My dear sweet boyfriend was like, I know what Courtney will want. Which is not what I wanted, but it's okay.
Yeah.
We had fun. So we went to this place called The Happy Place, and they had like a ball pit and like confetti and a bunch of other shit you could take pictures of yourself doing. But apparently I was doing confetti in the wrong area, and I do think that video is hilarious.
You're like, oh, I'm sorry.
I know, I immediately apologized. Like... Just no rebellion about it.
Everybody goes back to being like 7 years old.
I do look like a child.
I'm sorry.
I know. It's like, fuck them. It's like, that's the whole place, is that you're supposed to have fun and throw confetti. You're doing it in the wrong spot, though.
Sorry, you have to do it over there. You have to have your fun, wild imagination over there, not there. Okay, sorry. But that was very funny.
No, thank you.
No problem. So
check out my Instagram.
Check out her Instagram before she takes all of it down, or until she gets sponsored by a bikini place, and then it's all going back up.
Oh my God, that would be a dream. Also,
would that be?
Yeah, I also would really love to pose for Playboy. I don't know if I can fit it in.
Does Playboy even exist anymore in that realm though? Like, didn't they stop publishing pictorials? And then
they said that they were going to not do like fully nude pictorials, which is totally fine with me.
Yeah.
But I think that they rescinded that.
Because no one wanted to buy their magazine anymore?
I don't think that's the only reason people buy their magazine.
Oh, people,
It's for the writing.
It's absolutely for the articles. And the cartoons. A lot of my cartoonists do cartoons for Playboy, and they have written stuff, and people appreciate it.
Listen, I follow Playboy's Instagram because, like, I also appreciate a hot lady, and I'm, like, pretty straight.
Yeah.
But, you know.
Hot naked ladies are, I can't believe if they go out of style, that'd be ridiculous.
Yeah.
And Playboy's like, yeah, this isn't selling magazines anymore. It's like, really? Oh,
That's
God.
so sad.
It's so sad. And one of my writers was a Playboy model.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Juliette Ferté. I'll send you her email. You can ask her questions. She was.
Oh my God, I would love to.
She was. What year? Not that long ago. But she just had a kid. She lives in Seattle.
How
Very
old
nice.
was she when she posed?
I want to say she got found when it was like sexy co-ed type.
Oh yeah,
And then
see,
she
like,
did it for like 2 or 3 years after that.
I'm like I'm probably too old. I'm aging out of the Playboy, so I need to do it soon.
You would have to, maybe you could be in like a comedy issue.
If you say
Hot Girls of Comedy, and you could be like,
Oh,
comedy
God.
writer.
Oh my God,
Courtney.
So we're going to release the video soon, but we did a tour of Doc Johnson Dildo Factory. And
Okay.
we got did you see this on my Instagram?
I did not.
We got our vaginas molded. I mean, and Dave got his penis molded.
Is Dave the boyfriend?
No, Dave.
Oh, Dave's the co-host. Okay.
Yeah, he's like a buddy of ours. But
So Dave has a cast of Dave that
we
you guys
have
all
to go
got to
pick-
see.
We have to go pick them up because they do. It's like plaster first, and then they fill in, and then you get the actual mold.
See, now we're getting somewhere, Courtney. This show is not over.
No, but Sophia was saying, she was like, dude, we should be like the first comedian pocket pussies.
Well, that's what the sex
rather
toy
do
company
Playboy.
the
Call
sex
me.
toy company upstairs, their Satisfier, the one for the female is a vibrator, and the one for the men is a pocket pussy.
Oh, of course.
Yeah, I did not know that.
Dave had never used a sex toy before they brought us like this bounty of product.
Yeah.
And then he went home and started using a stroker, which is essentially like a bigger pocket pussy.
Okay.
Uh,
A
you know?
stroker? I don't know. No.
oh yeah.
I'm
it's
not
like,
educated
It's like a jerk off tool. And it was so funny. He was like, I'm never,
But
whatever.
why do you need to use a jerk off tool?
I don't
You
know.
have
He like
a
fell in
hand.
love with it. He was
Really?
like, I've had sex with the stroker like 40 times in 4 days.
That's the problem. When they start having like sex robots, you'll never see them again.
Yeah.
No one will leave their house. Why would I leave my house? I have a sex robot.
If you ask my clit, the robots have already won.
Oh,
It's a good way to end, huh?
I guess. Oh, this is over? So are you going to have a customized thing made?
No, well, that's expensive. We're working on them.
So
We have a whole relationship with these people.
So they did a plaster cast of you.
It's like 3 steps, right?
Okay, yeah.
So it's like they do the mold, which is like plaster. However
Yeah.
they do it, like when you're getting like,
Did they put like the Vaseline so it doesn't stick to you?
well,
Because I've done a plastic
So-
mold of like my face. They've done that before. I've gotten that, in
Sophia and I
craft
were
class.
fully waxed.
Yeah.
We were ready for it, so they didn't need to Vaseline us.
Okay.
But they did Vaseline Dave.
Okay.
Because he wasn't
Right.
prepared.
Well, you don't want anything sticking to you
No.
in that way.
No.
Interesting.
So, okay, so that they do the first thing is like the plaster or whatever. Then they do the mold. Maybe I'm saying, maybe the plaster is the mold. Anyway.
Well, they do the plaster, and then the inverse of that
Is
what they pour something into, and then
Something.
they make basically a you copy, like a statue of your
Yes.
stuff, and then they make a rubberized version of that.
Yes.
So first, and they make the mold from the plaster, and then they pour, let's say, silicone or rubber or something into that mold that makes a you. That's a fake you.
So we are getting what is the second step, which
Right.
is just like the statue of our
Okay.
genitals.
Interesting.
I can't wait.
It's going to be interesting. I'm going to have to listen to this. This is all going to be on the podcast.
We actually shot it video.
Wow.
And honestly, like, dude, it's so cool. Like, we love these people anyway. The Bravermans are the family that runs Doc Johnson's. And they're incredibly cool. And like they have an artist that they found at an art show who her name's like Anjane, I think. And she's this amazing Colombian woman who like was explaining her artistic inspiration for like sex toys. It's so interesting. She'll be like, this, tube of Christmas balls inspired me to make, this like dildo. It's like, whoa. She's like a legit artist. And she like going into her little like den was so cool. So we did a little interview with her. We shot some of the molding of our genitals. We interviewed the Bravermans. Yeah.
Where can people see this?
It's going to be on our YouTube channel in like a couple weeks.
What's the YouTube channel? Reality Bites?
Reality Bites with a Y.
Reality Bites with a Y.
And we already have episodes up on the podcast of us interviewing the Bravermans and Dave telling his horror story about getting his penis molded.
That's terrifying. I would think to get your penis molded.
Oh my God. Yeah, for us it was like like we didn't have to perform, right?
Yeah.
It was just like, yeah, my vagina's cute. Like slap the stuff on.
Oh yeah, he has to be like totally erect.
He has to be hard and stay hard. And it's like a clinical environment.
How long did he have to be at attention
well, for? I mean, there's some discrepancy in reporting here, but he says...
Because you want to be at attention for as long as possible because you want your mold to be as big flattering.
As yeah. Sophia suggested that they use cock rings in the future, and I think that's a great idea.
Yeah.
But they had not been using those. And
so what was he doing?
Dave
Just having
had
good
a
thoughts?
horror story. Yeah, he was like talking, but it was like he was not in the right mental headspace to be doing this.
No.
He was like having a conversation with us before he was going in, and I was like, Dave, do you need to like get sexy thoughts in your head? Like,
yeah.
And he was like, no, I got this. And then he went into the bathroom and he masturbated for like 2 minutes to some like girl that he knew that he'd hooked up with's picture, and then just came out with like he was like raging for a second, and then but it's like cold.
Yeah.
And it's like two people, Douglas and Diana, were there who are like, she's like his mom's age, and like Douglas is like this very sweet dude. So like and the plast and
it's cold like that.
It's so cold. Even for me, I was like, ew. He had to do it twice. Not to ruin the story.
Oh, that's
and
sad.
He was really unsatisfied with his ultimate product, but I think he got a great stand-up bit out of it.
That would be really depressing to have like a really flaccid sex toy made of your stuff.
It sounds like they get like porn actors, like professionals come in and won't be able to perform all the time. Because it's like a totally different thing. I mean, it's not even like... there's like nothing sexy about. There's like dildo wallpaper or like penis wallpaper, but like it's not like a sexy environment where they do these molds. And it's like people being like,
they should relocate it to like a strip club. Make a real clinical environment over by the champagne room, or
they'll be like, just throw dollars on her while we put this super cold.
Have some professionals around. I mean, that could work. They could do some partnership marketing there.
They could.
You
should pitch them.
They could be at the Body Shop on Sunset.
What's the Body Shop?
It's an old school strip club on Sunset Boulevard.
Oh.
And it says "Girls, Girls, Girls" on the side. And
I know
it's
that.
the inspiration for that song, "Girls, Girls, Girls."
Oh,
girls,
interesting.
Girls,
have you been
girls.
to Jumbo's Clown Room?
I've heard about Jumbo's Clown Room. I have not been there.
Yeah, it's like a nice strip club.
Oh, that's good. They have a nice afternoon
bikini bar.
Afternoon buffet?
No, it's not like that at all. It's like cool. It's like you'll see somebody like stripped to the Beatles or something, and it's like kind of like cool punk chicks. I know a couple of the girls. They're rad.
Well, that sounds nice.
That's my fifth career.
Jumbo's Clown Room?
Yeah.
Our new sponsor is Jumbo's Clown Room. Go for the noon buffet. The shrimp is fantastic. Well, this has been fun.
This is great.
Courtney Kocak.
You nailed it.
At Courtney Kocak on Twitter.
And Instagram.
And her nickname is Coco on Twitter. That's what your name says.
That's what I like to call myself.
Is that your nickname?
Sophia calls me Coco all the time. I feel like Coco's like leans into like the dumber, more superficial parts of my personality, which I think are funny.
Good. Yeah. Embrace it.
Yeah. Yeah, we're all going to be dead soon.
Exactly. Just do what you want. People worrying about if you look good in a bikini. Wear a bikini. God, I'd wear a bikini every day.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm going to go do some bar right now. No, I'm not. I do the elliptical machine. That's what I do.
Do you?
It's low impact. I have a bad back.
And you walk around New York.
Yeah. I walk around. I walk a lot. I wear Allbirds, so my back feels better.
Allbirds?
You don't know about Allbirds? Well, I could do a whole show on those. They're the most comfortable shoe ever.
Oh, you should try to get them as a sponsor.
I mean, they don't need me. Everybody, I
didn't know about Allbirds.
Really?
No.
Oh, they're the most comfortable shoes. They're amazing, and you can put them in the washer dryer. They're made out of eucalyptus and wool. I could go on and on about Allbirds, but I won't. Thanks for listening. Our show is brought to you by Swill, the liquor store in your pocket. Go to getswill.com and use code FUNNY5 for $5 off your first order. Sign up for Weekly Humorist weekly email. Go to weeklyhumorist.com. And I'm sorry you're going to miss our guaranteed delivery stand-up comedy show, Courtney, because it's January 9th.
I'm going to have to come back and do it.
You should. We'd love to have you on. You could be on.
Yes.
Who do we have coming up? We have Tom Takar.
I don't know him.
He is. He's on You Up on the Comedy Central's morning show with
cool.
Nikki Glazer. He's going to be on, and we have a huge lineup. It's hosted by Kevin McCaffrey. Free tickets at weeklyhumorist.com/guaranteed delivery. That's downstairs.
This place is rad, you guys. Come check it out.
That's right. And then follow us at Talkward Podcast and subscribe and listen to all these fun things. This has been great.
This is awesome. I want to tell you something, Marty.
What?
You're doing a great fucking job.
Thank you. Thank you.
That's what his plaque on.
I have a plaque on. I have a desk plaque that says you were doing a great fucking job.
I love that.
I try. Well, this is Talkward. Follow us. Follow me at Marty Dunnix, and we'll see you next time. Thanks,
Bye.
Courtney. Bye.
Cheers.
Oh, and your show's Reality Bites with a Y.
We didn't even say that. No, we totally did.
Did we? We'll learn about sex toys. Okay. That was fun.
Yeah, we did it.
We did do it.